Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is the Bequest #2 from AfterShock Comics. It's an interesting second issue. Alright, so it was written by Tim Seeley. Freddie E. Williams II is the artist. Jeremy Caldwell is the colorist. Marshall Dillon is the letterer. So if you watched my review of the first issue, you know I was a bit iffy on it. Like, it's not a series that blew me away. I liked the concept. I liked some of the details. I just didn't think it necessarily went into the details enough, or like really fleshed out a lot of stuff enough to get me super interested. But like it was an interesting setup. The second issue kind of falls into that same issue, same problems for me, is that there's a lot of interesting stuff, but the issue focuses, I think, too much on distractions that kind of brings the overall issue down. So the concept of the series is that there's these two worlds, there's a breach between them. One's kind of our modern world, one's fantasy world, and magical weapons from the fantasy world are going over to the modern world. The modern world is bringing guns and weapons over to the fantasy world, and it's by like one dude who's trying to get the guns so he can go and like take over the fantasy world. That's the short version. So this issue has our group of heroes from the fantasy world. One getting used to this world, our world. They've never experienced that, and that part is like, it's really interesting. It's very choppy, but to me, how they reflect or how they respond to the real world is actually really interesting, and I wish there was more of that, because what's presented feels a bit choppy the way it's presented. Like I didn't quite catch exactly what's going on until it was too late, reading into it, reading the comic, and then even then it was just like, I wish there was more. Like, I wish we got a better setup as far as that. The other is there's kind of an escalation of the weapons going back and forth. The first issue kind of introduced us to a gang that was getting these magical weapons. They wound up being like neo-Nazi, skinhead, white supremacist characters. This, again, doesn't do enough with them. They just get more guns and weapons and kind of give a hint as to, what their target is, but at the same time, it's just like, it's like 2 pages. So, they're underused. To have this concept of racists getting magical weapons, I think, is really interesting. And the comic doesn't do enough with that. Instead, we get a distraction for a good chunk of the comic is either heroes fighting a monster in the Chicago underground, like an underground road, or they're watching a gun deal go on. The monster fight just feels like a really endless thing that just goes on too long, and it would even been better spending more time on the weapons deal, or spend more time on the heroes getting to know, like, the real world. Like, the way I might have done the issue is just focus on the heroes getting to know the real world, and while they're screwing around, this gun deal goes down to get more weapons in the Nazi hands. And to me, that would have been better, because then you could have the twist of, like, listen, you're screwing around in the real world, like, while this is going on, these weapons are exchanging hands, like, get your shit together, let's go stop them. Instead, it just feels like there's weird distractions, there's weird interactions, and it doesn't quite work for me. So the art, again, like, the art has interesting aspects to it. Again, like the main story, it doesn't quite hook me, but then there's things that like really give me pause, like these orcs with weapons is really cool. But then you get, like, a scene like this, and it's just like, I don't think that fight quite works for me. So, yeah, like, there's some stuff that works really well, and then there's others it's just off. It feels like maybe they could have used, like, another hand giving it a read, and someone that would have, like, really spoken up and been like, hey, why don't you do this? But yeah, like, if you're into fantasy, you'll probably dig it more than I did. So, I mean, that's kind of where it's at. I'm going to keep reading, of course. Like, I'm just going to keep on checking it out, because I'm intrigued to see where it goes. I'm just hoping it gets better than where it's at. It's out in comic shops now. You can go get it. We've got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. Tell the shops near you. No shop, no problem. We have some affiliate links. There are affiliate links, so we'll get a small percentage by doing that. You help support our site, so thank you. Speaking of support, I want to thank AfterShock for hooking us up with a review copy. Thank you for that, and thank you for watching. If you're into comics, if you're into AfterShock, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.